Hello and welcome to my 7th leatherworking project. This is a waist cinching belt that I'm building for my sister for Christmas of 2013. The design of the belt involves 3 pieces of leather. One thick strip that is used to cinch the waist, and 2 thinner strips which add design and support the buckle that closes the belt. Now it's important that the 2 thinner strips are equal in length when you cut them out. If you're having trouble marking the fleshy side of the belt, using something like Scotch tape really makes a mark. I use a compass and an overstitcher to mark the leather where I'm going to punch the holes, so it just makes it easier for lining things up and getting equal distance. Now where you place the smaller strips is dependent on the subject that you're making the belt for. You want the ends of the strips to sit on the sides of the hip person you're making the belt for. Applying something like gum tragacanth can smooth the fleshy side of the leather. You can't really use too much of this stuff, you just apply it on and it will start smoothing it out for you. And you want to smooth it out with something slick like a piece of glass or a piece of bone or even a smooth piece of wood. You want to do all the edges and the fleshy side of the leather. If you're interested in doing any sort of carving or stamping of the leather, you don't want to apply the finish just yet. Do the stamping through the wet leather first and then apply the finish afterwards. I chose to stitch the smaller belt pieces to the larger belt using white thread to give it a bit of an accent. Now as a tie-off you can use super glue. Doesn't leave much of a mark, and then when you cut the threads they'll be secured in place. Here you can see the smaller straps attached to the larger belt. I'm just cutting off a little bit of excess that I had, used more leather than I needed to. Now there's a tool, here I'm finishing the end of the belt, and there's a tool you can use that cuts the end of the belt for you. This tool is expensive though, and I don't have it, so instead I'm using a compass and a knife to cut off the end myself. So now I'm starting to cut out a channel for the belt buckle bar to slide through, and I'm going to clean it out with my knife. I chose to install this belt buckle using a rivet. The reason for this is I just like swinging a hammer, really. I marked the position of the second hole using the punch pushed through the hole that I just made. If you use the anvil on the showing side of the rivet, you can avoid any sort of indentation that you would get from the hammer blow. I punch out the belt notches about 1 inch apart. So now when I put it together, you can see it's kind of starting to look like a belt, but there's one thing missing, and that's the belt keeper. I cut this out of a piece of leather, and now it's time to install it. Once again, I'm going to use rivets, so first we need to punch the holes through the belt keeper. We punch out holes on the main belt, and then we can install our rivet. Again, I use the anvil on the showing side of the rivet to prevent any sort of indentation on the front face of the belt. And now here you can see it's all coming together, but it looks a little bland, at least in my opinion. So I'm thinking what I could do is attach stitching all around the edge of the belt. So first I'm going to mark a distance line using my compass, use the overstitcher for appropriate distancing, and then punch out a few hundred holes. This took quite some time. And here you can see all the holes around the edge of the leather. way. Stressing the leather, like wrapping it around a table leg like I'm doing here, will cause the belt to become softer. Just make sure you don't do this to your grandmother's dining room table. After a bunch of time spent stitching, we have our final product, and here it is. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you try making this yourself.